The Levier why the package arrived on a Tuesday morning. At first, I almost ignored it. Wasn't expecting anything. No birthday. No holiday. No online orders. Nothing. Yet, there it was. A small brown package sitting on my porch. Rainwater covered the cardboard. The shipping label looked faded. Old. Very old. I picked it up. And immediately noticed something strange. The postage stamp. My heart skipped. The date printed on it. Read, October 12, 2006. I stared at it. Then looked again. 20 years. The package had been mailed 20 years ago. That wasn't possible. I carried it inside. Set it on the kitchen table and called my wife, Olivia. She laughed when I showed her. Maybe it's a time capsule. I laughed too, but something felt wrong. The package wasn't damaged. It looked old, but not 20 years old. Then I noticed the sender. My stomach tightened, because I recognized the name instantly. The sender was my father. The problem? My father died 19 years ago. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. The room became silent. Then Olivia whispered, "Ethan." "What? You should open it." Slowly, I reached for the box and cut through the tape. Inside was a photograph. An old key and a handwritten note. The note contained only one sentence. "If you're reading this, they're already lying to you." Before we continue, make sure you're subscribed because this mystery is only getting started. Asterisk. The photography couldn't stop staring at the photograph. At first glance, it looked ordinary, a family picture. Nothing unusual. My father stood in the center, smiling. My mother stood beside him. And there I was, only 6 years old. The picture appeared normal. Until I looked closer. Much closer. Then my blood turned cold, because something didn't belong. In the background stood a building, a large brick warehouse. I immediately recognized it. The problem? The warehouse didn't exist when the photograph was supposedly taken. I knew because that entire area was empty land back then. I remembered it clearly. Yet, somehow there it was. Standing behind us. My pulse accelerated. I flipped the photograph over. A date was written on the back, July 2005. The warehouse wasn't built until 2008. 3 years later. That should have been impossible. Olivia noticed my expression. "What is it?" I handed her the photograph. Several seconds passed. Then her face changed. She saw it too. The warehouse. The impossible building. Neither of us spoke. Then, I noticed something else. A reflection. Barely visible in one of the warehouse windows. Someone was watching us. Man. Tall. Standing in the shadows. My stomach tightened. The figure looked familiar. Too familiar. I grabbed a magnifying glass from my desk and examined the image. The closer I looked, the worse it became. The man wasn't a stranger. It looked exactly like my father. Older. Much older. At least 20 years older. The room suddenly felt cold. Olivia slowly sat down. "Ethan." "What?" "I don't think that's possible." Neither did I. Yet the image was right there. Then my phone vibrate. Unknown number. My heart nearly stopped. I answered. Immediately. Silence. Only static. Then a voice spoke. A voice I hadn't heard in 19 years. "Ethan." I froze. My hands started shaking. Because it was my father. Exactly. My father's voice. Then, he said something that changed everything. "Don't trust the photograph." The call disconnected. I stood motionless, unable to breathe, unable to think. Then Olivia pointed toward the old key from the package. Attached to it was a tiny metal tag. A tag I hadn't noticed before. Only 3 words were engraved on it. "Locker 317. If you're enjoying the story so far, subscribe now because the biggest mystery hasn't even started yet. Locker 317. I couldn't stop thinking about the key. Locker 317. 3 simple numbers. Yet, somehow they felt more important than everything else. The photograph, the phone, call. The package, all of it seemed connected. The question was where. After 2 hours of searching old city records, Olivia found something. An abandoned railway station. Downtown Portland. The station closed 18 years ago. Before my father's death. And according to old maintenance records. It once contained storage lockers. My pulse accelerated. This had to be it. An hour later we stood outside the station. The building looked frozen in time. Broken windows, rust-covered signs, weeds growing through cracked concrete. The place looked abandoned. Forgotten. But something felt wrong. As if someone had visited recently. Then I noticed footprints. Fresh footprints leading inside. Olivia saw them too. Neither of us said a word. We simply followed. The station was silent. The air smelled of dust and rust. Old ticket booths lined the walls. Broken clocks hung from the ceiling. Everything looked dead until we reached the locker area. Hundreds of metal lockers stretched across the hallway. My heart pounded. Then I saw it. The number matched the tag. My hand started shaking. Inserted the key. The lock clicked instantly. As though it had been waiting. Slowly. I opened the door. Inside sat a small black briefcase. Nothing else. Just the briefcase. No labels. No markings. No explanation. Lifted it out carefully. It felt heavier than it looked. Then I noticed something attached to the handle. A note. My father's handwriting. The sight of it nearly stopped my heart. The note contained only one sentence. If you're opening this, I was right. The room suddenly felt colder. I opened the briefcase. Inside were dozens of documents. Maps. Photographs. Newspaper clippings. And one VHS tape. The label read, "Watch Alone." My pulse exploded. Then I noticed something else. A photograph. Much newer than the others. I picked it up. And immediately froze. Because the photograph showed me. Not as a child. Not recently. Today. The exact clothes I was wearing. Standing outside my house. Someone had taken the picture yesterday. The room started spinning. Olivia looked over my shoulder. Her face turned pale. Then she whispered, "Ethan." "What?" She pointed toward the corner of the photograph. A reflection in a nearby window. Someone had taken the picture. And the reflection revealed the photographer. My blood turned cold. Because it looked exactly like my father. If this mystery has you hooked, make sure you're subscribed, because what Ethan finds on the VHS tape changes everything. Asterisk. The VHS tapey couldn't wait any longer. The moment we got home, I searched the attic. Old boxes. Old electronics. Forgotten memories. Eventually, I found it. An old VHS player, covered in dust. Somehow still working. Olivia connected it to the television. Neither of us spoke. The tape sat in my hands. "Watch Alone." My father had written those words for a reason. But after everything that had happened, there was no way I was doing this alone. I inserted the tape. The machine clicked. The television screen flickered. Static filled the room. For several seconds, nothing happened. Then the image appeared. My heart nearly stopped. Because my father was sitting in front of the camera. Alive. Healthy. Smiling. The recording quality was poor. But there was no mistake. It was him. For a moment, I forgot to breathe. Then he spoke. "Ethan." My eyes filled with tears instantly. I hadn't heard his voice in 19 years. Then he smiled. If you're watching this, it means they never stopped looking. The room became silent. I glanced at Olivia. She looked just as shocked. Then my father continued. I need you to listen carefully. The smile disappeared. His expression became serious. Very serious. Everything they told you about my death was a lie. The room suddenly felt colder. My pulse accelerated. I leaned closer. The television crackled. Then my father held up a newspaper. The date was visible. 3 months after his reported death. My stomach tightened. That wasn't possible. The newspaper proved he was alive, months after the official records said he died. Then my father continued. They changed the story. They changed the documents. They changed everything. I felt sick. The accident, the funeral, the death certificate. Had all of it been fake? Then he looked directly into the camera, almost as if he could see me. Then he said something terrifying. They're watching this recording. A chill ran down my spine. My father looked over his shoulder. As though he heard something nearby. Then he lowered his voice. Ethan, if you're seeing this, you've already been followed. My heart exploded. Instantly I remembered the photograph. The picture taken outside my house. Someone had been watching me. Then the tape continued. There was a place they never found. The screen flickered. My father pulled out a folded map and pointed to a location. A place hidden deep within the Cascade Mountains. Then he spoke 3 words. The 3 words that would change everything. Find Red Valley. The tape suddenly distorted. Static covered the screen. The image shook violently. For a second, another image appeared. A surveillance camera. A man sitting in a dark room, watching dozens of monitors, watching houses. Roads. People. Watching me. Then, the image vanished. My pulse exploded. The tape returned. My father looked frightened now, genuinely frightened. Then he said, if they realize you're getting close, they'll come for you. The room went silent. The recording ended. The screen turned black. For several seconds, neither Olivia nor I moved. Then we heard it. A car door closing outside. Slowly. Deliberately. I walked toward the window, and my blood turned cold. A black SUV was parked across the street. Someone was sitting inside, watching our house, watching us. Before we continue, what do you think should do next? Let me know in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed, because the mystery is about to become much more dangerous. They knew before we the black SUV remained outside all night. Neither Olivia nor I slept. Every time I looked through the curtains. It was still there. Parked. Waiting. Watching. At 5:43 a.m. the SUV finally drove away. For the first time in hours, I relaxed. Only slightly. Then Olivia looked at me. We need to leave. She was right. If someone was watching us, this staying here was a mistake. We decided to head for Red Valley, the location from my father's VHS tape. If answers existed, they were there. By 7 a.m., we were packed and ready. I grabbed the briefcase, the VHS tape, the photograph, and the key. Then, I paused. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. I couldn't explain it, but the feeling wouldn't go away. Then I noticed a small envelope sticking out beneath the front door. My pulse accelerated. It hadn't been there before. I picked it up carefully. No stamp. No address. No name. Just a plain white envelope. Inside was a single piece of paper. Only one sentence was written. You're leaving too late. The blood drained from my face. Olivia, read it. Neither of us spoke. Someone had been here. Minutes ago. Maybe seconds ago. Watching. Listening. Then my phone vibrated. Unknown number. Again. I answered. Instantly. Static. Then my father's voice. Clearer than ever. Ethan. My heart pounded. Where are you? Silence. Then, they know about Red Valley. My stomach tightened. What do you mean? The line crackled. Then he said something terrifying. They knew before you did. The call ended. I stared at the phone, unable to breathe, unable to think. How? How could anyone know? We had only discovered Red Valley a few hours ago. Then Olivia rushed toward the living room window. Ethan. Her voice shook. I ran over. And froze. Across the street stood 3 black SUVs. Not 1.3. All. Identical. All parked. All facing our house. The room suddenly felt smaller. Then I noticed movement. A man stepped out of one of the vehicles. Dark suit, dark sunglasses, expressionless face. He wasn't hiding. He wanted us to see him. Then he raised a small camera and took a photograph of our house. Of us. Then calmly returned to the vehicle. My pulse exploded. They want us scared. Olivia whispered. I nodded. Then another realization hit me. No. They wanted something worse. They wanted us predictable. Then I remembered something my father said. They can predict people. The surveillance system. The project. The files. What if they already knew every choice we were about to make? Then I opened the briefcase again, desperately searching for anything we missed. And that's when I found it. A folded note hidden inside the lining. My father's handwriting. I unfolded it carefully. The message was short, only 6 words. But they changed everything. Never take the main road. My heart started racing, because Red Valley was only accessible by one highway. At least, that's what everyone believed. If this mystery keeps surprising you, share this video with a friend who loves suspense stories. Because Ethan is about to discover a route that officially doesn't exist. Asterisk. The hidden road. The note wouldn't leave my mind. Never take the main road. Those 6 words changed everything. For the next hour, Olivia and I studied every map we could find. Paper maps. Digital maps. Satellite images. Nothing. There was only one route to Red Valley. At least officially. Then Olivia noticed something strange. A faded line on an old forestry map from 1998. A road. Barely visible, almost erased. The route wasn't marked on modern maps. It simply disappeared after 2004. My pulse accelerated. That's it. Olivia nodded. An hour later, we were driving deep into the mountains. The hidden road was difficult to find. Overgrown. Narrow. Almost completely swallowed by nature. It looked abandoned. Forgotten. Exactly the kind of road people stopped noticing. The deeper we traveled. The stranger things became. No signs. No traffic. No phone signal. Nothing. Just endless mountains. Then I noticed something. A wooden post beside the road, half buried in weeds. Someone had carved initials into it. D.W. My father. My pulse exploded. He had been here. The hidden road continued for miles. Then suddenly, the forest opened. And I saw something impossible. A small cabin beside a lake. The exact same cabin from one of the photographs. Inside locker 317. I slammed the brakes. For several seconds neither of us spoke. Then Olivia whispered, "Ethan, I know. The cabin was real. Every photograph. Every clue. Every warning. All of it had led here. We approached carefully. The front door stood slightly open. The wind moved it gently. Back and forth. Back and forth. As though inviting us inside. The cabin felt untouched. Frozen in time. Then I noticed something on the kitchen table. A coffee mug. Still clean. Exactly like someone had left only hours ago. My heartbeat accelerated. Then I saw another object. A journal. Black leather. Worn with age. I opened it. And immediately recognized the handwriting. My father. Every page was filled with notes. Maps. Names. Dates. Observations. Years of observations. Then I reached the final entry. The date made my blood run cold. 3 days ago. 3 days ago. Someone had written in this journal. 3 days ago. Then I read the final sentence, and everything changed. Ethan is finally close. The room spun. My father knew I was coming. Not years ago. Not decades ago. Recently. Very recently. Then Olivia pointed toward the window. Ethan. I looked outside. And froze. Footprints. Fresh footprints. Leading away from the cabin. Toward the mountains. Toward Red Valley. Someone had been here. Maybe this morning. Maybe an hour ago. Maybe. My father. Before we go further, subscribe to the channel because Ethan is about to uncover the biggest secret his father has hidden for nearly 20 years. Red Valley. Why the footprints led into the mountains. Olivia and I followed them for nearly 2 hours. Neither of us spoke much. The deeper we went, the stranger the valley became. The forest grew quieter. The air felt different, almost untouched. As if the world had forgotten this place existed. The footprints remained visible. Fresh. Clear. Whoever made them wasn't trying to hide. Then the trail ended. My pulse accelerated. Ahead stood a narrow canyon, hidden between 2 massive cliffs. From a distance it looked like solid rock, but up close, a path became visible. A secret entrance. My father had hidden an entire valley. The moment we entered, everything changed. The canyon opened into a vast landscape. Cabins. Solar panels. Water. Towers. Gardens. Vehicles. People. Dozens of people. Living completely off the grid. For several seconds I couldn't breathe. This wasn't a hideout. It was a community. A hidden town. Then I noticed something. Everyone seemed to recognize me. Some smiled. Some stared. Some looked emotional. As though they had been waiting for years. Then an elderly woman stepped forward. She looked directly at me. Tears filled her eyes. Then she whispered, "You're Ethan." My pulse exploded. "How do you know my name?" The woman smiled, then answered, "Because your father never stopped talking about you." The world suddenly stopped. My heart pounded. "Where is he?" The woman pointed toward a cabin near the lake. A small wooden cabin. Smoke rising from the chimney. My legs felt weak. For 19 years, I believed he was dead. Buried. Gone forever. Now he was only a few hundred feet away. I began walking, then running. Every step felt unreal. The cabin grew. Closer. Closer. Then the front door opened. My heart stopped. An older man stepped. Outside. Gray hair. Blue eyes. Weathered face. Dark flannel jacket. For several seconds neither of us moved. Neither of us spoke, because I knew immediately. It was him. My father. David Walker. Alive. Real. Standing in front of me. Tears filled my eyes instantly. 19 years of grief. 19 years of questions. 19 years of anger. All crashing into me at once. Then he smiled. The same smile I remembered as a child. The same smile from every photograph. Then he spoke. Only 3 words. 3 words I had waited almost 20 years to hear. Double quotes. "Hello, son." I couldn't stop the tears. Neither could he. Then he walked toward me and wrapped his arms around me. For several seconds, the world disappeared. No conspiracy. No mystery. No lies. Just a father and son, finally reunited. Then my father whispered something in my ear. Something that made blood run cold. Ethan. What? We united. Then my father whispered something in my ear. Something that made my blood run cold. Ethan. What? His smile disappeared. Then he looked toward the mountains, toward the horizon, toward something I couldn't see. And said, "They found Red Valley. Stay with me until the end, because the biggest revelation of the entire story is coming next." The Piakegi Valley was silent. Everyone had gathered near the lake. My father stood beside me. Older. Tired. But alive. For 19 years I had imagined this moment. Yet none of my questions mattered anymore. Only one. Why? Why disappear? Why let everyone believe he was dead? Why send a package 20 years later? My father looked toward the mountains, then finally spoke. The package wasn't supposed to arrive now. My pulse accelerated. What do you mean? He smiled sadly, then pointed toward the briefcase. The answer is inside. I opened it again, carefully. This time my father reached inside, beneath the documents, beneath the photographs, beneath everything. A hidden compartment. I hadn't seen it before. Inside sat a small metal box. Old. Scratched. Locked. My father handed me a second key. The key had been hanging around his neck for 19 years. Slowly. I unlocked the box. Inside was a stack of letters. Hundreds of them, each one addressed to me. My heart stopped. The first letter was dated 2006, the second 2007. The third 2008. Year after year. Birthday after birthday. Christmas after Christmas. Every year of my life. My father had written to me for 19 years. Tears filled my eyes. Then I opened one. The handwriting shook slightly. Ethan, if you're reading this, then somehow I failed to come home. I want you to know I never left because I wanted to. I left because I had to. I couldn't stop crying. Neither could Olivia. Then my father explained everything. The surveillance project. The hidden network. The people who wanted control. Years ago he discovered evidence exposing them. The same evidence Sarah found in story number 3's world? No. This was something different. A financial manipulation system. A network secretly influencing industries, businesses and communities. People disappeared after discovering it. Some never returned. My father escaped. Others escaped, too, and Red Valley became their refuge. A place beyond the reach of those watching. Then I looked at him. But why send the package? My father smiled. Then revealed the final truth. The package was delayed on purpose. My pulse exploded. What? The postal date was real. The package was mailed 20 years ago. I stared at him, unable to understand. Then he continued. But it wasn't mailed through the normal system. My father pointed toward an elderly man standing nearby. The same man who helped build Red Valley. Together, they had created a chain of trusted people. Each person held the package for a few years, then passed it forward. One generation to the next. Waiting. Watching. Making sure it arrived only when it was safe. Only when Ethan was ready. The package wasn't lost. It was protected. For 20 years. The realization hit me like a wave. Every clue, every photograph, every note. Every warning, all leading here. Then distant engines echoed across the mountains. Everyone turned. Black vehicles approaching Red Valley. The danger was real, closer than ever. But something had changed. The people of Red Valley weren't running anymore. For years, they had collected evidence, documents, recordings, financial records, proof, thousands of files. The truth was finally ready. My father handed me a hard drive. Everything was on it. Everything. Then he smiled. For the first time since I arrived. A genuine smile. They can't hide forever. The vehicles continued approaching. But nobody moved. Nobody panicked, because the secret was no longer hidden. The truth was finally free. Then my father placed a hand on my shoulder and spoke the final words of the story. The package was never the message. I looked at him. Then he smiled. You were. The valley fell silent. The sun rose over the mountains. And for the first time in 19 years. I finally came home. The end.